What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today we got a new artifact, actually from the last area, it seems like, of the story. It is called Tidecall spell, and it's quite an interesting one. We are going to test it in depth in this video. It is very nice, actually, in terms of stats, HP crit haste, and the effect is also pretty nice. You can maybe just watch it in the fight and I will explain it during this time. I already did a few experiment fights against the Crystal Beetle, and we are going to try this team with Tidecall spell equipped. It is a very interesting artifact in the sense that it's pretty similar to Star Shard spell. It also triggers based on the ultimate. You can see there is like the counter. You need to cast 5 ultimates for it to activate, and then we will see a wave traversing our battlefield. And this wave deals magic damage based on 60% of your team attack. So entire team attack, 60% of that is dealt as magic damage. We had a similar ratio in the Star Shard spell, but there, of course, we dealt true damage, which is by far better. And we see it still used in fights against AFK stages just because it is so strong with this true damage. I don't expect this artifact to be used in a similar way, actually. The nice thing about this is we not only deal the damage, we also have a very nice debuff, and this debuff is called Soaked. And during the effective time of this debuff, enemies deal less damage and take more damage. One thing I'm a bit afraid of in this situation is whether this stacks with Rainier or doesn't stack with Rainier, because we had similar mechanics with Thorn, and Thorn giving a similar debuff as Rainier, and those didn't stack, so this might be the same case here, which would be quite unfortunate. I tried this team with the artifact multiple times, and we can compare the results now to the same that we did with the other artifact that I forgot the name of. We can't even click it. That's horrible. Resonating spell. And we can see resonating spell was around 4997. And then we have 3 attempts here with the Tidecall spell. All pretty close, even though a little bit lower than that. So it is not really clear that it is a lot better in this situation. There's one more team I want to try. Because, well, our heroes deal more damage with this artifact. So deal more damage to the enemy with this artifact. So I really want to see how it works out if we just add more damage dealers to the team. Make a little bit of use of the extra survivability that we get and add more damage dealers to the team. So this team is also one I really want to try. One more thing that we should change probably is just like moving Coco to the back, because Coco has an effect that buffs actually the attack speed, I believe. So we used this with Resonating Spell. Of course, in this situation, only had to be here. But with Tidecall, it really doesn't matter, so we can change the position. Let's watch this fight and see how that works out with 3 damage dealers. Last time I had survivability issues. Towards the end, I think 2 or 3 heroes were dead. And I'm eager to see how that works out. We, of course, don't have a healer in here. But this might be perfect, actually, for us to just make use of that extra survivability. The problem I see with this artifact is really in the uptime. Uptime is pretty limited. You need 5 ults to even trigger it, and I think then it's 4 seconds. And you can see the distance based on the timer is a lot larger than 4 seconds. So we have a pretty big time in between the effective time frames of this artifact. And this would, of course, be made a little bit better if the ultimate counter was down, which it will be once we upgrade it to +20, but this requires you to upgrade this artifact, well, one more time, and has a resonance level requirement of 540, which is a bit unfortunate as this is pretty far away. I wanted to do it today, I actually wanted to show off the difference. Sadly, wasn't possible, so we are stuck with the +19 here. 4963, that's actually not too bad. Survivability felt a little bit better, especially towards the end. But I'm not quite sure. I really have to test the Rainier thing. Maybe we can do this right now. Let's test if Rainier even has a big advantage. I mean, he certainly has an advantage in that he will make our Talene survive a little bit better. But what I want to do is probably add Mikola to this team, put her right here, and see how that works out with the new artifact. One thing that is quite annoying here is, well, I now upgraded this artifact. It means I upgraded this artifact, so there is no reset button. And this is kind of horrible, especially if you're a YouTuber. And I kind of want to tell you guys, of course, if this new artifact is good or not. And then we end up with a situation where I upgrade artifacts that might turn out bad. And if you remember last season, Set Sahara boss, if you had lower artifacts there, that could easily cost you a ton of loot. So I really wish they would introduce a button there to reset all of this. That would be quite nice. Extra heals are of course pretty nice. We will have to see. I mean, it looks... Oh, we lost Odie. Ah, that's bad. Ah, that is really bad. I mean, that is probably costing us a ton of damage. And we lost Mikola. Okay, that is a problem. I think we'll have to retry, and I will just skip to the damage screen. Okay, last few seconds here. It's looking decent-ish. 4.974. So we have the same damage, really, as before. Makes it pretty hard to judge whether the Rainier really did anything in this situation. Given that the damage numbers didn't really change. But of course, Mikola has a buff as well. At best, we could argue that Mikola was as good as Rainier in this situation with this artifact. But that's of course a little bit difficult. One more interesting thing that is maybe worth trying at least. Let us switch their position. We take out Mikola and I want to include Alsa. And this might seem stupid, but the idea is obviously to just get more activations of the ultimate. We don't have a healer again, and now we have 4 damage dealers, which is I think it might be overkill, but it's all based on the idea that that Mr. Rainier might not do what he's best at. So it's just a little bit of an experiment here and see if we can survive with Coco. We should now get way more activations of this artifact just because we get more ults. And yeah, it seems like that. 57, 56, we got 3 in already, 54. And we nearly have 100% uptime with Alsa, but we have also 100% downtime now of Alsa, Coco and Teline. So we died a little bit, which is not good. I mean, Mikola has kind of anti-synergy with that, in that she basically never reactivates her ult. So if you put Mikola on the team, it is kind of bad. It is kind of bad. Because she's just like, okay, I will go in there, I will activate my ult once and that's it. And then you have to base the artifact activations on 4 heroes, which is really, really bad with this artifact. So in this situation, probably Smokey would be better, but against Crystal Beetle, we obviously can't use him. So I'm intrigued. I'm not like, this is a super good artifact, use it. I think you're pretty much alright with Resonating Spell. It seemed like we take a little bit less damage, and the Alsa thing is surely interesting. Maybe if it just inspires you guys to try and use this against the boss, and maybe do something with Alsa. If you send me some teams and some results, maybe on my Discord server we have an AFK Journey chat, that would be very cool. That would be very cool. I think that would be super interesting to actually see what you do there and what you are able to do against the Dream Realm boss, maybe against the same one or against other things, and which kind of combinations you come up with. I've seen very little of that yet. Okay, let's try against Glyphshade. Against Glyphshade we also have faction skills active. I kind of don't like this. Meta is a little bit based around Maulers, which is not that great. And I kind of prefer other faction skills, but maybe later we will get another meta. So this is the team that I usually use. We are just going to switch this up. I wasn't really lucky with any damage, and I kind of still hate that we have 1 attack. It's horrible. I actually already submitted, well, a bit of a complaint to the community managers, and I said, well, guys, it would be kind of great if you change this up a little bit and let us do 3 attacks, just do change it to 3 attacks, triple the boss HP, and give us a skip button. So like that you can, if you don't want to experiment, you just click skip 3 times and you're done with it. And if you want to experiment, well, there you have an opportunity to at least do 3 attacks, because 1 attack, it just feels pretty bad. We don't really have a frame of reference here. A frame of reference in this situation would probably rather be my teammates. We should probably also have adjusted the level here a little bit. Would have been better. But we can do this in a second, and we will do one more boss fight and just check out battle druids. But we also won't do a big comparison. I think that was more of the job of Dream Realm. I think there's just so many factors in battle drills in general with all the debuffs that I don't even want to do a lot of testing there. I just think this would be interesting to see if that artifact can do well there. So we're on 6 billion. That's not that great actually. that is not a whole lot of damage. It is also severely worse than my teammates did, about 1 billion worse if we see it like that. So yeah, I think Mikola are really bad with this artifact, so that is something. And then Sharky, of course, also has super long ult durations. I think we would need to replace both of those heroes to do really well. We can see 7.7 billion there. Yeah, this is definitely not the way to go if you use those heroes. I think if there's one thing to take away from this video, it is to have a little bit of awareness that you should probably refrain from using those heroes against these enemies. So what do we do here? Wilder is actually active at the moment. We have a Rainier, which I tend to like to use. So maybe let's remove everything so that we have a clear slate, a clear thing to think about. Maybe go like this. I kind of like this. We could also activate the Hypogen thing, which is rather interesting. No, I don't really want to do that. I kind of feel fresh though. But then again, we could go with Odie. And we really, by the way, we really have to activate the faction talent. And if you can activate the faction talent with 2 tiles and put your 2 damage dealers in there, that is actually quite insane. Maybe we just demonstrate that a little bit. Put Odie there, and then we need 2 more heroes from the Wilder faction. So we go like this, and we need 1 more for single target, which we don't really have. We could go with Florabelle, maybe. I kind of like the idea of Florabelle, even though we have the 2 damage dealers with magic there already. I mean, Cassidy is looking at me and saying, okay, come into this team, but I don't think that works. We really want the extra damage though. Do we need heal is the question. I kind of don't like Rainier anymore, I think. Do we need heal? Can't be CC'd, so that is pretty bad. Let's take in some heal. Let's put in a Fresto maybe. If we have double heal, we can just go Rainier. I don't really want to teleport my... I don't really want to teleport anything. I'll be honest, I don't really want to teleport anything, I think. So we just go like this. It's a weird team. I don't like it. It's very, very weird. Let's just try this and see what it does. It is confusing. We have 2 heroes on the wild fields just to activate it. I think it is a little bit confusing. I mean, with the new artifacts, combinations, of course, with a lot of haste, like Damien, can be very, very interesting. If we can do proper damage here, I think we will compete with Mega Fungi, who did an attack, but I think he also only used 4 heroes, which is a... yeah, I don't know how much of a competition that then really is. We are surviving fairly easily here, though. So, not really too many issues in terms of that. We get very frequent activations, but the current thing with like sometimes triple speed, sometimes double speed, makes it rather difficult to see what's really going on. And I used a very weird team here, I tell you that. 25 billion there from the Lily May, not much from Odie actually. Fairly interesting. Okay. Was 1 attack. How many percent did we remove from that guy? We removed about 7%. Let us do 1 more. I mean, it's not bad if we do a little bit of a longer video. Okay, we still have our Lily May. We lost our Damien in the process though, which is a bit unfortunate. It's also a bit unfortunate. I mean, with Rainier, you kind of want to teleport this guy, but then you don't have the heroes on the faction talents, and that is... yeah, that is so bad, actually. I kind of hate that, how that works. I think I will have to go in depth and think about this a little bit later. I kind of don't like anything I see at the moment, so we won't do that. Okay, I will do the attacks later. I kind of don't like any team. Do I like this artifact? I have the really strong feeling, I tell you. The really strong feeling I might have over-invested into an artifact that was probably not worth it. Because in terms of bossing, we couldn't really outperform perform Resonating Spell. Like, that is the harsh reality of it. I like the extra survivability, but if we look into the endgame of last season and we see like, okay, what is the reality? Endgame of last season was damage optimization, like really damage optimization. Coco was gone after we went to the endless bosses. Coco was basically no longer in the game. We no longer used her. We used everything to put max damage on bosses, and that stayed the meta. And in this situation, something like 30% less damage is less important. If the 25% more damage taken doesn't stick with Rainier, which probably some smart people will test, and I will try to test too, of course. Just basically destroying myself here. I kind of don't like how close it is to Star Shard Spell, while not being a whole lot better at what it does. Like, do I use Star Shard Spell or do I use a Tidecall Spell? I think I would often use Star Shard Spell. I like the crit, but this true damage thing is really better against normal AFK stages, I'm afraid. So yeah, this is something that we of course have not tested in this video. There are more artifacts that are interesting coming up. We have the Great Sword Spell, and we have some more that are really interesting coming up. And I think maybe wait before you invest into this. At least don't invest your red currency in it. Because we are fairly limited on that. You can probably get enough of the yellow ones to upgrade it to plus 15 fairly easily, but if you go beyond that, well, you need the red stuff, and that is still pretty limited. We don't know how easy it will be to get that, so wait with that at least. And with that, I think we are done for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me your testing results down in the comments. I'm very interested in this. And if you have some nice compositions, some nice teams that you want to show off, do this on my Discord server. You are very much so invited. The link is in my description. We have a great AFK Johnny community there. And with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.